Hello and welcome back to more Total War Warhammer 3 news. Today we have the Kislev faction mechanics. So it's been a while since we've heard from these lads, so it's good to know they haven't been forgotten about. The first mechanic we learn about is devotion. This is a representation of how well your faction is adhering to the Kislev ideals and determines how willing they are to live in the ice cold and fight chaos for a living. It is a currency gained via defeating chaos and sacrificing the post-battle captives, as well as various buildings and decisions. It is lost via actions seen as heretical, such as warring with other Kislev factions, but can also be spent on buildings and tech that are related to the faith. Should your reserves dip too low, Chaos will become more aggressive in their attacks and venture deeper into your lands. What this boils down to is the war fervor of your faction. If it drops, they allow Chaos to slip by as they no longer believe it can be stopped. Keep it as high as possible and you will have a much easier time. Next up we have the Motherland. The primary use of this devotion currency is to perform one of 4 rituals to the Motherland, to one of the 4 main gods of the Kislev faith. Salyak, the god of healing and comfort, increases growth and casualty replenishment rate. Daz, the god of fire and the sun, increases the income from trade and buildings. Ursun, the god of bears, causes all enemies in your lands to take attrition and all your armies gain a powerful hex ability. And finally, Tor, the god of thunder and lightning, grants additional melee attack to all units and a unique army ability to massively increase damage in an area for a short time. Each ritual performed causes a great winter to cover the Kislev lands, spreading snow into all battlefields within their lands. This may mean we have multiple versions of the same battle map, which is a neat feature taken from Troy of all places. This storm is more difficult for foreigners to traverse, but natives have no such problem. If you keep your devotion high enough, you can switch between effects at will, or keep the same one active for long periods of time. Our next mechanic is the supporters and spiritual conflict. At the start of the campaign, Kislev is a divided nation that, while united against chaos, has a lot of internal politics. Katerin has had a rapid rise to power after the death of the Red Tsar, and some feel she is not fit to rule. Primarily Kostaltin, the ruler of our other Kislev playable faction. The two factions do not dare declare open war, but are in a constant hidden war against one another to gather as much support as possible and take the throne once and for all. Both factions gain followers over the course of the campaign, and whoever reaches the max first confederates the other and gains full control over the rest of the Kislev lands. Of course, you can spend gold and devotion to smear your opponent's name and put them further behind if you wish. And of course, alongside doing all this, you'll still have the rest of your campaign to contend with, and the blog specifically mentions Chaos, the Empire, Vampires and Ogres. Are we going to get Mortal Empires 2 on launch, or are the Empire and Vampire counts just going to be a part of this campaign since they're very close on the map? Either way, I love my Vampire boys, so I'm very excited to hear them even mentioned. Next, we have the Ottomans and Cities of Kislev. Kislev works on a strict hierarchy, where the Tsarina is on the top, and the Ottomans below her rule over their lands. In-game, these Ottomans are represented as special lords that are recruited to serve over a province, and depending who you choose, this can affect income, growth, control, and corruption in the area. There are more special effects aside from these that are unlocked as they level up and spend skill points. Speaking of which, they do not level up via XP like a normal lord, they are instead faced with regular dilemmas to increase their skills. If you choose to, you can draft Ottomans as lords to lead armies. However, they do not have any specialized effects for battle, and their provinces will not benefit from their effects, and if they fall in battle, you will lose all their skills. You get 1 Ottoman for every 2 provinces you control, and 2 provinces in Kislev can be a little different to most. They have their 3 main cities of Kislev, Prague and Erengrad, and then scores of much smaller towns and villages, with the odd single settlement province sprinkled in like Hellpit. This means you have to pick and choose where to deploy these guys to get the maximum possible effects for the faction. Next we have the Ice Court. Unlike other factions, the Witches and Maidens of Kislev cannot just be bought once you have capacity. You must train them, which comes with a cost as well as several decisions to determine their exact abilities. This means hiring a hero can take many turns, but it does give you a chance to mold them into exactly what you need at the time, whether that be the lore of magic they can cast, their abilities or passive bonuses. Research in tech allows you to increase the training capacity, and once training is complete, the capacity for recruitment is raised, and you can recruit them on the campaign map at a discounted rate from other factions. This means you can spawn as many as you want, as long as you have the time and money to train them. Finally, we come to the tech tree. Kislev's tree is focused on 4 main areas: the land, and each of the 3 great cities. Each area has 3 groups, and you must progress through each of these groups from the top down rather than skipping ahead. To begin with, you can research in the land area and whichever city you start in control of. After this, you must own each of the other 2 cities to gain access to their techs. The techs themselves offer benefits you'd expect of units, income, and more. Uniting the 3 cities should be a high priority in your campaigns to maximize your power level. And that concludes everything we know so far about the Kislev faction mechanics. Let me know in the comments which is your favorite. Personally, I quite like the supporters one, pretty much because it mentions my vampire counts. Like the video if you did, and subscribe for more content in the run up to Warhammer 3. Check out COLONELDAMNEDERS.store to support the channel, as well as checking out some sweet designs. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to all supporters of the channel on YouTube memberships, Patreon, and on Twitch. In particular, it's your boy LC for his wonderful support at the Unclean Ones tier. Thank you all for watching, and for now, I've been COLONELDAMNEDERS, and I will see you next turn.